Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Ink and Impact podcast. I'm your host, Daleen Bickle, and it is such a pleasure to be with you today. And I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving, regardless of whether or not you live in the United States, where we celebrate this holiday today. I want to wish you a relaxing day and one that's full of blessings. So, two blessings for me are being able to be with my immediate family members all day and having the means to provide a veritable feast. Yet, if you've ever been in charge of the Thanksgiving dinner, as I have for the past many number of years, you know that it requires a lot of preparation and advanced planning. First, you have to remember to thaw the turkey days in advance, not just a couple of hours. I learned that lesson the hard way in my early years. You also have to make sure that you have bought all of the ingredients in advance. There's nothing worse than having to text a neighbor, hey, do you have a can of cream of chicken soup? Yeah, I've done that too. And you also, while it's not required, it's helpful if you can set the table in advance, with the tablecloth and the good china if you have it. But I do recommend waiting until young children are old enough to know to keep the hands off of the good china plates, right? And then for me, I have to figure out how to roast a turkey and prepare all 8 of the side dishes and desserts with just one oven and get them all on the table hot and ready at the same time. That is a continuing challenge for me. I will admit that. So, this logistical challenge is what is happening at the Bickle household right now, as you might be listening to this, if you're listening to it on Thursday, on Thanksgiving Day. But because of that, rest assured that I pre-recorded this podcast, right? So why am I sharing all of this with you? Because it is a great um, tie-in, a great analogy to the book creation process. There are um, multiple pieces, moving parts associated with self-publishing. And to ensure that the book is done on time and that it satiates your hungry readers' expectations, you need to do a lot of advanced planning and prep work. So that's why I'm going to share with you today 3 things to do now to self-publish in 2024. All right. So I'm sure you're curious, what are those 3 things? Well, I'm going to run through them relatively quickly. There are only 3 things, and I know you have a lot of things to do, but I don't want you to minimize their importance. Even though there are only 3 things, they're important things, okay? And the first is to establish a deadline. You've heard me talk about this before, but it's really, really, really important. If you don't have a deadline set, then you are going to have a much greater chance of putting it off, of delaying writing, of delaying doing the different pieces of the puzzle that need to get done by certain dates. It'll just kind of be pushed to the side. And then all of 2024 will pass and you still won't have published your book. We don't want that. If God is calling you to publish your book in 2024, then He will help you provide the means, right? He will enable you to get the things done, but it also requires you to put in the effort, right? To actually do the things. And having a deadline gives you an overarching view of the whole year and what you need to do when. It also provides you great accountability. If you don't have a deadline, like I said, things get pushed to the side. But if you do have a deadline and you see that deadline on your calendar, and then you see the sub deadlines underneath that major one of printing, it'll help you keep moving your book forward. But sometimes, if you're like me and you put things on your planner and it's just you that knows about it, things can still get pushed to the side, right? Unexpected opportunities arise. Sometimes things outside of your control with family members or your own health. Some things, sometimes get in there, and those things have to take precedence, right? But if you share your deadline, if you share your reach goals underneath that deadline with an accountability partner, chances are greater that you will complete and meet your deadline. So every Wednesday, I hold Inkwell writing sessions. They're virtual co-writing sessions. And this week, I didn't even bring it up. I didn't even mention that this was going to be talked about on the podcast. But two different writers there at the Inkwell were talking about how important deadlines were to them, that if they don't have a deadline, then they don't hold themselves accountable. And it was also mentioned how helpful it is to have other people encouraging them along the way and asking how things are going. Because if people are going to ask, and people are going to ask how things are going, then you're going to put in a little bit more work to get it done and to meet those deadlines. All right. I don't want to belabor the point any more than that, but just know that it's important to set a deadline. Point number 2, the second thing you need to do now to self-publish in 2024 is to grow or build your platform. And I can almost see your eyes rolling right now when you hear this, because we all hear it. As writers, we all know we need to build our platform. And a lot of times we just push it off too, right? We're like, okay, we're going to write our book. We're going to get that manuscript written. And then when it's in the publishing phase, then we'll worry about building a platform, growing an audience, knowing who we're going to be marketing to, how we're going to market it. Friend, let me remind you that you need to be working on your platform and marketing your book from day one of even thinking of writing your book, okay? That's so, so important, especially if you want to sell your book. I know that some of you are writing just for personal reasons. You just want to write to say that you wrote a book. Some of you are writing for limited publication, private publication, just for small numbers of friends and immediate family members. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you intend to actually sell your book in bookstores and to make money off of your book and at least recoup your costs involved in printing your book, then you've got to learn how to sell your book and build a platform. And that doesn't mean that there's a one-size-fits-all plan out there. And that's where things get tricky. And that's why people put this off. That's why writers just put it off, because so many of us fall under the excuse of, well, I'm an introvert. And I fall into that too. I'm speaking to myself here. That's just an excuse, right? That's just a reason not to put ourselves out there, not to advertise our book. And then we fall into the lie that nobody wants to learn about our book. But I am a firm believer that if God has given you a message, if he has called you to write a book, then he also has specific readers waiting for you to finish that book and offer it to them. And so you need to make it available to them. They won't know on their own that it's available. You have to let people know. And like I said, there's no one single way, catch-all method that's going to work for you and your book. That's why you have to know who you're writing to. You have to know where they hang out, and you have to go to them. It doesn't always mean spending a lot of money. Sometimes Facebook ads work for people, and a lot of times they don't until you have a large enough audience, okay? Just throwing money at it isn't the initial answer, okay? First, you need to go to where your readers are. Bookstores, libraries, book clubs, whatever genre you write, find out who reads those books and join them. Maybe it is online. Maybe there's a Discord group. Maybe there's a Facebook group. Maybe it's an in-person organization, like I said, book clubs. Or if you are a Christian entrepreneur who is wanting to write a business book or a thought leadership book, maybe your audience are the places where you're going to be speaking. Maybe it's for your clients. Maybe you are planning to sell your book in your stores. Maybe you have a brick and mortar store. That's going to be different than for the person who is a novelist, right? Or for the person who's writing a devotional. Everybody needs to really dig in and identify who their audience is, and then actively go out and do it. And I mean consistently. So along with your deadline, put on your planner every week, multiple times a week if possible, where you're going to go, where you're going to share that you're either writing your book or that it is coming out at XYZ date, join my launch team, or it's already published. Here's my book. Here's where you can find it, but I'm coming to you too to let you know about this, right? All right. So we've talked about the first two things you need to do now before self-publishing 24. First was quiz time. What was it? Establish a deadline. The second one, grow your platform. And the third one is learn the process. Learn what process, Daylene? Learn the self-publishing process, okay? If you're planning to self-publish in 2024, you need to start learning how to go about doing that, what the different phases are, what the stages are, what the language is, before you actually go into whatever print-on-demand publisher you're using, whether it's Amazon KDP, whether it's Ingram Spark, whether it's Drafted Digital, whether it's BookBaby, Blurb, Lulu, whatever one you're using or thinking of using. There's a lot of legwork to go in before you hit the publish button. And it can be overwhelming. I 100% believe that it can be overwhelming, but it is also able to be broken down into manageable steps as long as you are working along the way, learning the process, okay? And so toward that effort, to help you learn the process, I have put together a brand new Self-Publishing Unpacked Masterclass that I am going to be offering twice in December, 2 different dates for you to choose from, because I know the holidays are super busy. So one is going to take place before Christmas, December 12th, and the other is going to take place after Christmas, right before the new year, right? So you can start getting an understanding of the self-publishing process. And it's going to share all of the overview. It's going to share my framework of how to self-publish. And it's going to not just provide fluff or just basic information, but we're going to really dig deep and drill down into the steps you need to take to self-publish, okay? So it's a 1-hour virtual masterclass. And I truly hope that you will join me. Now, because I am looking to, especially in this masterclass, serve individuals who are really committed to self-publish in 2024, there is a small fee. But because you are such a blessing to me as listeners and subscribers to the Ink and Impact podcast, I have developed a coupon code for just you listeners. So it's going to give you half off of the price. So all you have to do is use the coupon code INK15, that's INK, and the numbers 1 and 5, INK15, to get $15 off of the masterclass. So this is a limited offer, though. You have to use this by the end of the day, Monday, Cyber Monday. Let's see, that's November 28th. So that's giving you a few days to listen to this podcast, right? And take advantage of all the Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals, right? So use the coupon code INK15 to get $15 off of the Self-Publishing Unpacked Masterclass coming up in December. And it is going to be so beneficial. I so look forward to getting to know you better, getting to answer your questions. It's going to be live, so you're welcome to bring your Q&A or your questions. We're going to do a quick Q&A session after each, okay? And yes, it will be recorded, so there will be replays for those who can't attend, but the replay only goes out to those who register, right? So don't miss out on this opportunity to save $15. Now, of course, you can sign up after Monday, but it'll be full price, $29.99, okay? But if you use the coupon code INK15, you can get it for only $14.99 through midnight or 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on November 28th. So I just want to throw that out there. I hope to see you there, and I will have the direct link in the show notes. So whatever podcast player you're listening to, go to the show notes where it describes this episode, and there will be a link to where to register, and it'll take you right there to the shopping cart, and then you can enter the coupon code INC15. All right, friends, go enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving day and Thanksgiving weekend. And I so look forward to coming back with you in 2 weeks. And I hope to see you at the Self-Publishing Unpacked Masterclass. Have a blessed day.